Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into this early edition of the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. Thanks for jumping in. If you're on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button for us and, of course, subscribe to our page. If you're a podcast listener, we like you too. Make sure you are following or subscribed and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Those 5-star reviews are like gold, and we would greatly appreciate it. Want to remind you, by the way, our takeover is 8 days away, and we have, I believe, 2 tickets left.
2.
Yes.
By last count.
So you're going to want to jump in and get those today before they're gone.
Take a friend.
Yes, you will get a 300-level ticket to the Hawks game. You will get a free CHGO hockey t-shirt, which is a brand new design, one that has not been released until now. You'll get 2 free beers or wines at the Goose Island Pub in the United Center. And most importantly, you get to hang out with Greg, Mario, and I for the entirety of the game. It's going to be a great time. AllCHGO.com to get your tickets. And remember, if you are a diehard, you save 20% on our takeovers, on our tailgates, on all of the merch at the CHGO locker. And, of course, upon sign-up, you get another free shirt or hat. And every year, that happens upon renewal. So go to an event, buy a couple shirts, and the membership pays for itself. And most importantly, it keeps us going. It sustains us here. It helps CHGO grow, which is hugely important as we approach our 1-year anniversary here coming up in about a month. So, All right, today's show, we are taking your trade proposals. We got a bunch of them sent to us via our Twitter account at CHGO_Blackhawks. We also got a few via our email, which is blackhawks@allchgo.com. If you want to email us, that's how you do it. But before we do that, Mario, before the show, you found this little nugget in The Athletic, and I'll let you share it with the folks at home.
Yeah, so this was coming from Arthur Staple, a New York Rangers writer for The Athletic, and this was a few days ago, going through his Rangers trade board and everything like that, targets that they can look at. And, of course, Patrick Kane and the Rangers have been linked together for a long time when it comes to trade rumors. There are going to be plenty of Rangers and Patrick Kane trades that were sent to us. But this was an interesting nugget that I think is not really a greatly kept secret, right. But I think it's something that not a lot of people have been really giving a lot of air to. But Staple basically writing everyone in the league, as far as general managers, front office personnel, whatnot, saying everyone in the league knows that Patrick Kane needs hip surgery. And obviously that's going to affect his trade value and the market for him. And he was also saying if he doesn't shut it down for this season and gear up and be healthy for free agency this summer and to be healthy for next season, that he's going to be damaged goods at the trade deadline. And we've heard this, a little bit from Elliot Friedman as well. Mm-hmm. He was a couple weeks ago spitballing about Kane and his injury issues, and if he was going to shut it down and maybe sign a 1-year contract with the Blackhawks to shut down the season, have surgery, whatever it is that he needs, and then do this whole thing all over again next year. We don't know if that's the case, but look, like Kane has said that has dealt with a nagging injury the last few seasons. He's always said that it's something he can play through. This year he had the knee issue that kept him out for 3 games. I believe that was already last month. So it's definitely something to consider when you're thinking about the trade deadline and his value. And the quality of his teammates this season definitely factors into his production. But I think as much smoke as there's been now around him and his health, I think you can't deny that there's probably a little bit of fire there. He has not been the same Patrick Kane that we've come to expect. Even if he's been playing through this injury, it's not the same this year. And I think that's going to come into play with the deadline. If GMs know that they're trading for a rental of a 75% Patrick Kane, you're going to get a 75% Patrick Kane deal. So I think a lot of people have high expectations for that. We talked about the Bo Horvat trade and how that compares to Kane. I mean, I think it's tough to deny that at this point now, with that information out there and that sentiment amongst other GMs, we're probably going to have to, and we've said temper your expectations. We might even have to temper it a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's amazing, though, that, and I don't think Arthur Staple's wrong by any means. I don't think this is a secret. I mean, he's admitted he's been playing with a nagging injury. He played with a nagging injury last year and put up over 90 points. Granted, he had Alex DeBrincat on his line. But it is a little ironic. Is that the right word? That it's a New York Rangers writer, the team that everybody's wants to put Patrick Kane on, that is putting this information out there to kind of try and maybe drive down the asking price a little bit. Funny how that it works. How and I'm not saying that's his intention, but it's I always find those things funny.
I think in the way the way that he was kind of putting it was basically saying, like, I think he was more or less speaking to Rangers fans in the way he was writing it and saying, like, hey, like, I don't think Patrick Kane is the target that the Rangers are going for anymore. I think they're probably now looking at, now that Horvat's gone, they're probably thinking Timo Meier as their top guy, no longer Patrick Kane.
And the Kane to the Rangers has been more the fans.
Because of Panarin.
Because of the Panarin connection.
Sure, yeah.
And he's from,
which I don't think is
New York,
it's not a
State.
FUBA connection. Like, there's reality to it.
But I don't think there has been much concrete evidence that, like, oh my God, the Rangers are just all in on Patrick Kane. They got to have him. It's been more of fan speculation. It would be a good fit. There is the connection with Panarin. Yeah, those are easy dots to connect. But as far as if there's actual interest from the Rangers, we don't know. Mm-hmm. But, as Frank Saravalli said the other day, there's at least 6 teams that will be interested in him. And, listen, 70%, 75% of Patrick Kane is still pretty darn good when you put him in the right situation. We were spitballing a lot of stuff before we went on the air, and Carolina all of a sudden could be a team in the mix. They need a goal-scoring winger. You get Patrick Kane, he's not even on your top line in Carolina. That could work wonders for him, where he goes to a team like that and he doesn't have to be the guy. He could just go out there and play against second and third pairing defenders, and all of a sudden those numbers, 75, 80% of full health, they start shooting up regardless. So, and plus, I think it's the name that attracts a lot of GMs. Yeah, a lot of GMs are going to be just with like the name recognition. Hey, I traded for Patrick Kane. What do you want from me? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but I went out and got 3-time Stanley Cup winner, former league MVP, greatest American player to ever play the game. I went out and got him. What do you like? You can't fire me.
I already quit. No, a couple things here. So, first of all, if you're a team that is looking to win a Stanley Cup and add a player at the deadline, is Patrick Kane your number one target? I don't know if that's true anymore. If I'm deciding between Timo Meier and Patrick Kane, I'm going with Timo Meier right now.
Yeah.
So there's something to consider.
As the season has gone on, he's fallen down the trade board.
There's a couple people saying that Kane has had the hip issue for a couple years, but yes, and if anyone has injured anything on their lower body, sprained ankle, broken foot, whatever, broken toe, as you favor the injury, you can re-injure other things because you're walking weird, you got a limp, you're putting too much weight on one leg versus the other, which could have inflamed the hip more than it was before the knee injury, right? Although they're unrelated injuries, whatever knee pain he's probably still dealing with a little bit could be impacting the hip. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. But you talk about Patrick Kane at 75% and maybe getting 75% of the value back in the trade. With this draft, is a second-round pick for Patrick Kane, better than a first-round pick next year? I don't know. It's, they're saying, what, was it Emily Kaplan who said, like, 50 to 60 forwards deep in this draft?
Yeah.
Of, like, first-round potential type players?
Yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, if you're trading him to a contender and
it'll be lower.
They go on a longer run, then you are talking about a second-round pick in the 50s and 60s. And I think if there's a team willing to give up this year, their first round pick still for Patrick Kane, you have to do it. I just don't think it's going to be like their first round pick and a top end prospect and an NHL player like we saw with Horvat.
I think this is where conditional picks can come into play too, just like with Marc-Andre Fleury last year. Like, let's say the Rangers get to the Eastern Conference Finals and Patrick Kane plays, just throw a number out there, 10 games or whatever it is.
Right, or finishes like
then
top
that
5
second
in ice
becomes a
time
first.
Yeah.
Because it would be, if they're in the Eastern Conference Final, it's going to be a bottom 4 pick of the first round, and then it becomes less valuable.
Yeah.
So that's where you can get creative in the trade and say, hey, you know what? We know that he's dealing with some injuries. It's been a down year. But if he helps you get to where you want to get, you got to, if the value is realized, then that's got to become a first for us.
Yeah.
Because we're not interested in the second round, pick 55 or whatever it might be.
Right.
And I think the trade returns are all going to depend on how many teams he's willing to take a trade to.
Exactly.
If he says, I only want to go to the Rangers know that the value is going to go way down.
Oh, yeah.
If he says, I can go to either Dallas, the Rangers, or the Kings, all of a sudden now you got 3 teams bidding on him, and that should drive the price up to where one team might just say, screw it, we'll give you the first round pick because we want him.
Yeah.
We're injured or not, we need to have him because we want him, and B, we can't let this other team go get him.
And that's what Arthur Staples says this in the little draft board thing he wrote for the Rangers. It says, quote, if Kane only wants to come to the Rangers, Drury could see if a lowball offer gets accepted, but it's hard to see how Kane is the centerpiece of anyone's deadline plans now, and even a last-minute deal would require major finessing due to his cap hit. So
I think that's a little overstatement there by Mr. Staple. Like, it's still Patrick Kane. His last 2 games, he didn't look 80% the last 2 games.
Well, now he's got 10 days off or whatever it is.
The magic of Jason Dickinson is brought back Patrick Kane to a high level. I mean, those last 2 games, he didn't look injured to me.
Yeah.
I think he's a little blowing it out of the water. To think that, teams all of a sudden don't want Patrick Kane, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I think the major factor is going to be if Kane decides he wants to be traded, how many teams will he accept a trade to?
Right. The more teams that he's willing to go to drives up the price, just with anybody. So,
but Staples right. If it's only the Kings, Chris Drury's going to say second round pick.
Only the Rangers. Yeah, right.
And that's where Davidson needs to. We'll see.
Well, he's drawn his line in the sand before. He didn't trade DeHaan, didn't trade Strome, didn't trade Kubalik because he said, this is what I'm valuing these guys for, and I will not trade them for less.
Little different situation here, though, because if Patrick Kane says he wants to get traded, and then you don't trade him after this whole year, it's a little, and then he leaves for nothing. That's a little. Right. Patrick Kane leaving for nothing is a little harder to swallow than Calvin DeHaan leaving for nothing.
Right.
So it's a little different of a situation, though. Yes, we have seen him say, if I don't get exactly what my value, I'm moving on. I don't know if he can do that in a Patrick Kane situation.
Well, the question too would be, if they're not able to trade him or decide not to, and he sticks around, they've got his negotiating rights until July 1st. Let's say they draft Connor Bedard. Maybe then Patrick Kane is a little more interested in returning. But do you piss off Kane by having him agree to a trade and then not trading him? These are all the little nuanced things that a GM has to worry about. And
there's a lot of talk. Does Patrick Kane, would he be willing to come back to play for Connor Bedard? Maybe. Do the Blackhawks want him to come back? Are they ready to move on?
They might be ready to move on.
Many layers to this onion, and we could start to peel it back when we learn if he wants to get traded and how many teams he's willing to get traded to. Otherwise, it's just the same conversation every day.
Yeah,
right. And we're a month away from the deadline, so it's just like these questions have to have answers coming soon. And
hopefully,
I hope that they have this freaking meeting.
This whole 10 days off would have been
this is the time to do it.
To sit there and say, hey guys, how about we have a little Zoom chat here and figure this out.
I am in Cabo. Do not call me. Do not text me. I am not here. Yeah. All right, before we get to your questions, we should probably knock out our first set of ad reads here.
Yeah, let's do it.
And Mario, you going to talk about Foco and your giant Blackhawks parka you were wearing yesterday?
Yeah, it
Kiribati family cooler.
It came in handy because it's that office closet is right next to the attic above my garage, and I that thing needs to be re-insulated because it is freezing in that closet. But hey, that's the place that I go for all our remote Podcast, and it's the best place to go. It's quiet. Sometimes for our late night shows, I need to, keep it down so my daughter can sleep through the night. So that's where the Foco Sherpa hoodie comes in handy because it kept me warm. I was nice and comfortable in there. And hey, Chicago, if you've already got the best coverage for your favorite teams with us here at CHGO, so why not get fitted in the best sports gear around? That's where our friends at Foco have got you covered. From Soldier Field to the living room, north side or south side, they have tons of gear geared towards your favorite teams, including hoodies, slippers, fan signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. You can get decked out just like your favorite players like DeMar DeRozan or Patrick Kane for the time being, with apparel from the leaders in sports merchandise and collectibles, of course, our friends Foco. Looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life? Foco has got you covered with hoodies that help you fight that Lake Michigan breeze. For sure, that hoodie will keep you warm down there by Lake Michigan. If you're just hanging out by the shore for whatever reason at this time of year, it'll keep you warm. And hey, Valentine's Day is coming up, so if you got a sports fan in your life that would appreciate a gift from Foco for Valentine's Day, check them out as well. Check them out, foco.com, FOCO.com, or you can click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. You can use the promo code CHGO, and when you do that, you are going to get 10% off your purchase.
And speaking of Valentine's Day, some say it is the sexiest day of the year. We talk about this all the time, fellas. What's the sexiest day of the year? Usually Valentine's Day, Boxing Day.
I usually say trade deadline day.
Trade deadline day and free agency are the 4 sexiest days of the year. But this Valentine's Day, you got some special plans. You're going out to a nice restaurant, a romantic evening at home. But what about later in the night when it's time to get it on? I'm talking about the sex. You know what I'm talking about, Steven? The sexical intercourse?
I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you Roman ready for sex? That is the question.
I mean, I'm 29.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't.
Damn.
Gee.
That hurts. Well, Steven, as you'll learn
Come
later
see
in
us
life,
in 12 years.
a strong sex life can deepen your feelings of intimacy with your partner and lead to increased happiness. Can confirm. Roman addresses a variety of sexual health needs for men, and they offer genuine medication that helps you achieve and maintain, you know what I'm talking about, strong like bull. You know what I'm saying? All right. They offer discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. Wow. That's a lot. That's like 28 minutes.
You can do your own personal math.
They treat low testosterone and can help revive your
4
sex
minutes.
drive. They have testosterone. Roman has testosterone treatment and testing. And better yet with Roman, everything's online. Men's digital health clinic available in all 50 states with licensed physicians. No waiting rooms, no hassle. Roman sends everything right to your door with free shipping and discreet packaging. I actually checked out Roman because I'm thinning a little bit here, and I went through the beginning of the process, and very easy, very discreet, very, very cool. So to get ready, Roman ready for better sex this Valentine's Day, go to ro.co/CHGO today to get 20% off your entire first order. Order by February 8th for guaranteed shipping in time for Valentine's Day. That's ro.co/CHGO.
It's a lot of O's.
That's Roman.
Oh.
Get Roman ready for the sex.
Hey, if you're looking for a lot of O's,
It's just your significant
with-
other will also
get
have
with
a lot
Roman,
of O's
right?
if you get the Roman.
Show him
You
your
know what I'm
RO
talking
face.
about.
There you go. All right. That's
got-
out of the way.
we got through it.
Congratulations.
We did it.
We went through that
Yeah.
pretty maturely, I think.
We did that. Good job.
Proud of ourselves.
There's only one way to handle reads like that.
go
You
with
just
it.
got to lean in.
That's what she
Sure.
said.
Yeah.
You know?
Not too far though, because
Not too far. Don't want to knock the computer over.
Then they don't. Yeah, or they don't come
Send
back.
some of those wipes over here. That sounds great. Anyway, y'all submitted your trades. So now let's get to them. Thank you, everybody, for sending them in. Very good response, even though it took me till like 10 o'clock last night to be like, oh, shit. We
We were talking about this for like a full week, and then I was working on the rebuild report late last night, and then I saw the tweet, and I was like, oh, yeah, we should have probably put that out there.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Yeah,
right.
well, the thing is, we get into these shows and the hours just fly by, and
They
then
do.
you
Yes.
realize, crap, we forgot to mention this for the 8th day in a row.
All right. I just saw Kevin leave his office, and I just got scared I got fired. Okay, good. We're good. All right, we're good. I'm still employed. Excellent. All right, let's get to our first trade proposal. This one comes from Maxwell Long, and it is indeed long.
This is a hefty
all right,
trade.
so this is your first Blackhawks and Maple Leafs trade. The Blackhawks would give up Jonathan Taves and Jake McCabe, both at 50% retention, and Sam Lafferty.
Oof.
The Hawks would receive Toronto's 2023 first-round pick, their third pick from Ottawa, a 2024 second, first if the Leafs reach the conference final,
So second.
defenseman Justin Hall, and forward Alexander Kerfoot. So we were kind of reviewing these before the show.
Yeah.
The Hall and McCabe thing kind of seems like a wash.
Yeah.
Except you get more term with McCabe.
The connection of McCabe to Toronto is to improve their defensive grouping, and I think for as rough as it's been for Toronto and their defensive group, I don't think they're giving up Justin Holl, former Blackhawk Justin
I was
Holl.
going to say, we drafted him.
Yeah. I don't think they're giving him up to get McCabe and look at that as like a total improvement. I think Holl has been fine for them, and I don't think he necessarily needs to come back. But with all those guys going to Toronto, I think to make the money work,
Right.
it's Holl and Kerfoot make that.
It's
make that
$5.5 million for
balance
the
out.
two of them. Kerfoot and Hull make 5.5 combined. 3.5 for Kerfoot, 2 for Hull.
Yeah. So I mean,
So it's basically Taves for free.
yeah, that covers Tays, and then as long as they have room to fit Lafferty, which is just $1 million, and then half of Jake McCabe is $2 million. So if you got $3 million and change in room, you can make the money work. That's a hefty deal, and that's a lot of assets to give up for Toronto. That's everything that they're going to do in one swoop.
I mean, they have to go for it. And once again, it looks like they're going to face Tampa in the first round, and they've got to load up.
Yeah,
they have to
good
load
luck.
like
They do.
and Tampa's not quite what they were the last few years, but
They're
you're betting
still-
against them? I'm not.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely not.
And there's also going to be Boston for them to likely have to go through if they want to get to that conference finals.
Boston smacked them
condition.
around pretty well last night.
Yes, they did.
You throw that back up, Steven. Just I want to look at it one more time.
Yeah.
So I can absorb it.
I know Kyle Dubas probably has to be a little more aggressive this year.
Has to.
It's the last year of his deal, and I ripped him plenty last year when he didn't want to trade a first-round pick to get Marc-Andre Fleury last season. I don't know if he trades the first-round pick this season to get Jonathan Taves and Jake McCabe. Like, I don't know. If they offered me that, I'd gladly take it.
Sure.
But if you
I just
add
don't
those,
see that. That's a lot.
adding those 3 to the Leafs though,
That's big.
that is formidable.
Yeah, that's big.
That's you're talking best roster overall in the game.
Well, that definitely, and as you said, that's kind of like one-stop shopping for the Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can get everything they need in one trade as opposed to going to 3 different teams and having to give up this for here and this for there.
Yeah.
It's more of a convenience for them.
And in that deal, they're keeping all their prospects. Because as
Right.
we've heard, like Matthew Nyes, Nick Robertson, like those are their top prospect pieces that have, they're not necessarily quote unquote untouchable, but I think the Leafs would like to keep their prospects because they need guys to try and keep this contention window open.
Well, you mentioned too that we've mentioned in earlier shows. Kyle Dubas is a lame duck GM, and he knows like if I don't get it done, I'm out of a job.
Yeah.
So he's saying I don't care about picks. I don't care about prospects. I need to win now. I need to win these
he
Stanley
doesn't
Cup
care
now.
about what Matthew Nyes does if he's not the GM of the Maple Leafs after this season.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's how he should approach it.
He should have approached that last season,
Well,
the
and-
season before that too.
and maybe he learned his lesson too. By the way, should mention Kerfoot and Hull would both be unrestricted free agents after this year, so there's no future player benefit for the Hawks in that one, which is fine. But just making sure that fact is in there as well.
And yeah, maybe you sign them to 1 or 2 year extensions in the summer because you need to bridge the gap to that 2024, 2025.
Everybody gets $5 million. Come on down.
And you need to get to the cap floor. Yeah.
Am I the only one that confuses Kerfoot and Newhook?
Oh, I do the same thing.
Like I always,
Yeah.
I
don't.
always
Isn't
swap
it
them.
weird?
Kerfoot and Newhook?
Are they both Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that could
why.
be
Both
why.
Alex. They're both like midline.
Yeah, kind of
guys,
similar
yeah.
players.
I always confuse which one is on which team.
Well, Newhook is younger.
Wasn't it the Leafs that signed the wrong free agent? This was years ago. They signed Jeff Finger instead of somebody else, and they're like, oh, we thought he was this guy.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll revisit that for tomorrow's
that
show.
sounds like a
It was not Kyle
Leafs.
Dubas. This was years
Yeah,
ago.
I was gonna say that sounds like a Leafs of old
Yeah.
move for sure.
Oh, man, I swear that's what it was. I'll look it up.
I think as far as convenience for both teams, that's a lot of good picks for the Blackhawks to come back, and it's a lot of that's a middle to upper six forward in Tays for the Leafs. It's a bottom six forward, and it's a defenseman that you can throw into your top four. Like it makes sense as far as convenience for both teams. I just don't know how it. I just don't see that all coming together.
Okay, I found it. This from 8 Great Moments in Leafs Embarrassment from Sportsnet.
Nice. Just 8?
Just 8.
Top 8.
They meant to sign Kurt Sauer, and they signed Jeff Finger by mistake.
Oh, that's
Whoops.
an easy mistake.
Whoops.
So good. All right, it's not just us.
So, when did they know they screw up? Like the first day of training camp? Like you're not Kirk. So who the
I
hell are
think
you?
it was the reaction of people were like, "Why'd you get this guy so much money?" Not that Kurt Sauer was much better, but oh my god,
Gave him the finger.
Yeah, the finger.
Gave him the
exactly.
finger.
All right, who's next on our list of trades? Here we go. The first Buffalo trade. You knew it was coming. This from Nathan. Buffalo gets Patrick Kane. The Hawks get the Sabres 2023 first. They get the 2023 second round conditional from it was the Buffalo's pick from Philly, and then a 2024 second round pick conditional. The conditions are if Kane signs an extension, the seconds become future first. So basically, if Kane re-signs in Buffalo, 3 first-round picks. Done.
Buffalo, wait, so it's Philly's 2023 second round, which would become Philly's 2023 first round if he signs an extension, which would be potentially the Blackhawks with Philly's pick and their own.
Well,
2 top
see,
10 picks this year?
No, because we wouldn't get Philly's pick because Philly has their own pick in the first round. This is Philly's second round pick.
Yeah,
so
I think it would become Buffalo's
Then it would-
first.
It would be
But you
Buffalo's
already
first.
gave him Buffalo's first.
Right. So I don't know how that can become a
good
first round
point.
pick. Yeah, you can't all of a sudden take away Philly's first round pick and say nope. Buffalo made it. A
Yeah,
condition.
that-
well, let's
yeah.
just, if we,
So let's just say
keep
we
it
get
the
the
second.
we get the second round.
Yeah, let's say he doesn't sign an extension. It's rental Patrick Kane.
Yeah, or just
This year's first. Can you put that up again, Stephen? This year's first, and then
this year's second from
which
Philly, which will be like
will
a top
be like
5
a, yeah
pick. So basically, it could be like the Hawks
In the
getting
top-
back-to-back picks to
in the
start
top
second
40
round.
in this. Yeah,
I would
and
make
then
that trade.
Buffalo's
Second round next year.
Next year,
yeah,
Chicago should make that pick or make that trade. I don't know if Buffalo does because, like we said, all in the preamble about Kane, that's that is like 2 first round picks and a future second for Patrick Kane, which I don't know if a team is going to give that up.
and Buffalo's good, and they're competitive, and they're young, and they're growing, and you can make the argument they need to bring in a veteran presence to get them over the hump. But I would think they're probably looking for some like a big free agent in that 26, 27, 28-year-old range that still has some prime left.
Yeah.
That can kind of lead them in. I think Patrick Kane, when they're ready to win a Stanley Cup, Patrick Kane's probably a shadow of himself, right? If we're talking 3 or 4 years, like what's Buffalo's cup window? 3 years maybe?
From now,
If things keep going the way they're going, if Owen Power develops, if Darlene keeps getting better,
I
if
think
Tage
it's- I
Thompson
think
I think
gets
it's
maintained.
quicker than that.
maybe two seasons from now.
Like they're challenging for a playoff spot this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like that.
So
could
a
be,
true contender in 2 years.
I would think so. If they stay on this
If
trajectory.
they stay on that path, yeah.
So Patrick
Which
Kane
is a
at what
big
age?
if.
36.
36, yeah.
So they kind of remind me of the 2007-08 Blackhawks, where they're like that team started to come together at the second
Yeah.
half of the season. They fell just short of a playoff berth, and then the next year they were in the conference finals. So that I think is more their trajectory right now. They're contending for a playoff spot this year. They've seemed like they've got their goalie of the future identified.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's been playing well lately, and they've got some really good young players. Tage Thompson got hurt last night because he didn't want to go to the All-Star game.
Well, hey, the Atlantic Division's got their defenseman now.
Yeah, they got
because
Rasmus.
Dahlin's the replacement.
So if you're Buffalo and you're looking at signing a free agent, you could do Patrick Kane, who at the end of this year will be 34. You also have on the list there David Pastrnak, who will probably likely resign in Boston, but he's 26. Dylan Larkin is 26. Timo Meyer is 26. You kind of go down the list.
Yeah.
Bo Horvat is 27. If I'm going to spend big money on a free agent, I'm the Sabres. I want a little more length of, I don't know, maybe say length of service or length of quality.
If you're
from
looking
my
to
major
extend
free
them,
agent.
yeah. If you're looking for a guy who could come in and sign an extension, definitely you want one of those guys who are in their mid-20s, because that's the window that they have to now try and extend. Kane is, I think Kane, if a team is looking at Patrick Kane, especially as a rental, it's got to be a team that's like, we need to just get over this small hump to be a cup contender, whereas Buffalo has still got to get over a big hump to be a cup contender this year.
All right, what's next, Steven? This one's from Brandon. He says, not that Vegas will have the cap issues after Stone's injuries, but I figure the trade is mutually beneficial. Vegas gets Alex Stalock and Andreas Athanasiou. The Hawks get Laurent Brossoit and a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick in 2024. Laurent Brossoit is a journeyman goalie. It's just kind of swapping picks and trading the two goalies for each other. Stalock has to be healthy. That's key to make any sort of trade. But so you're basically talking about a third and a fifth for Athanasiou.
And
right?
And
that's
goalies.
Truly how to look at that.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It's you can sign Brossoit to a 1-year deal to, again, bridge that gap to that 24-25 season. In net, Stalock has been really good when healthy. So yeah, if he's healthy, and Vegas wants to try and really shore up their backup goaltending position, because it looks like Logan Thompson's the guy for them going forward. Yeah, I have no problem with that trade.
Brossoit is makes $1.2 million this year. He'll be a free agent this summer. He has a 2.84 career goals against and a .905 career save percentage. He is. I was looking at their cap friendly page, and he's buried. It's literally listed as buried. So
I think he's playing in Henderson.
Oh, so he's their AHL.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
because it's Logan Thompson and
It's Aiden Hill.
Is it Aiden Hill?
Yeah, Aiden Hill's their backup.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brossoit's not even in the NHL right now. He's playing in the AHL.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, 22 games.
And that's really a move then that tries to get some money open for Vegas. Athanasiou at $3 million. If you're retaining, you can only retain so many contracts.
Only 3.
So I don't know if Athanasiou is in those plans to retain. So yeah, Vegas will have money now that Mark Stone is going to be out for the probably the rest of the season. I would assume after having back surgery. Second
back surgery in 6 months.
Jake McCabe would play in 2 weeks, my friends.
Yeah. If you're saying a third and a future fifth, basically for Andreas Athanasiou,
I take that.
Swapping goalies, fine.
Sure.
You don't even need to swap the goalies. If someone offered me a third and a fifth for Athanasiou, I'm taking it.
Yep, agree. Next, this one's from John.
3 teams.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. I'm going to screw this up. So he says New Jersey and Dallas are the only teams that can extend Kane. Taves can't leave with his head up. I'm sorry. Oh, Taves can leave with his head up that Boston needs him. So the Devils get Kane with half retained. The Hawks get a first and a second, Holtz and Tatar. Okay, so let's do that one first.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
If the Devils,
you're not going to get a first and a second and a top prospect and an NHL player for Patrick Kane.
Holtz is the Devils' number 5 prospect coming into this season. He is 20 years old. He was a number 7 overall pick in 2020. He's played 27 NHL games so far. with 6 points. Over the last 2 years in Utica, he has 55 points in 55 games.
Wait, are these 3 different trades? These are 3 different trades.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought this was a 3-team trade.
No,
If the Devils came to me and said, we'll give you a second-round pick and Holtz for Kane, I may take that.
Yeah. And Tatar, by the way, is that's just a
clear cap.
a money mover.
Yeah.
That's right.
To move money.
Tatar makes $4.5 million.
The Devils offered me that trade. I'm taking it.
Right, absolutely.
I just don't think they're offering me
They're
that
not
trade.
They're not doing that.
All right, Boston. Here's the second trade. Boston gets Taves and Lafferty. Chicago gets a 2023 first and a 2025 second.
I don't think you're getting that value for both those guys. It's a great trade for Chicago. Sure, go for it.
Yeah,
if you get a first
sure.
this year for Taves and a future second for Lafferty, sure, that's good value. I just don't think Boston's going to do that for both those guys.
Again, you got to remember that Taves and Kane can dictate where they want to go, and to an extent, Jake McCabe can. And as far as we understand,
Toronto is not on McCabe's.
That is the
no trade
one
list.
team not on his list, right? In Canada. So the third trade is McCabe and Athanasiou, with half of McCabe retained, and the Hawks get a first from the Leafs this year.
Undervalue.
That's not enough. Yeah,
that's not enough. We've been hearing, if you trade McCabe at half of his deal retained, you can get a first plus.
As you should, because you're getting McCabe for 2 years for $2.2 million.
2 years at $2 million flat.
That's worth more
of
than
a guy that's a top 4 defenseman. That's worth that's a first round pick and maybe a B level prospect, and then you throw in Athanasiou too. Like you need a pick, another pick, and a prospect to go with that.
Yeah,
so
that's
an
a huge return for the Leafs and not nearly enough to give up, in my opinion. All right, what do we got next?
I thought that was a 3-team trade, and I'm like, none of these teams are working with each other.
All right, this one is from George, another kind of complex one, so stay with us. Jake McCabe, half retained, Taylor Radish, and a 2023 fourth-round pick and a 2024 third-round pick to Toronto for Jake Muzzin, Matthew Nyes, and or Robertson, and a 2023 first-round pick and 2024 second-round pick.
Oh, good golly.
That is a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. Well, but Muzzin's done for the year.
Yeah.
So that's just money coming back.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with Nick Robertson because the kid can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of these injuries aren't his fault. It's hockey. Injuries happen, but just he can't stay on the ice. So if they say you get either Matthew Nyes, I stop him right there and say, yes.
I would like
Don't
Matthew
even tell
Nyes.
me who the other option is. That's who I'm taking. I mean, I would make this trade.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's going to be an actual offer from Toronto. If they offer me that and Nyes is in there, I say yes.
Yeah.
Pleasure doing business with
Nyes and a first. You could definitely intrigue me in a lot of trades for that return. And then if you're swapping extra picks in there, depth picks, that's fine. We've talked a lot about Taylor Radish being potentially a guy who could have a role with the Blackhawks over the next couple of years. I think I believe he could, but it'd be interesting to see if his name was out there, which it doesn't sound like it is, but who knows? If his name was out there, what teams might be willing to give up for him?
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that I think you don't trade just to trade, but if he's part of a trade that gets you a first-round pick of Matthew Nyes, thanks for your service, Taylor.
For sure.
Good luck in Toronto.
Yeah.
Nyes is the Leafs' #1 rated prospect. He was their second-round pick in 2021, number 57 overall. He's at the University of Minnesota right now, where he has 30 points in 28 games. That is a top prospect.
Yes, I would love to have Matthew Nyes, and he's probably jumping to the pro ranks next season.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to do that.
Look, if there's one kid that seems like he might potentially be available that I'm targeting if I'm the Hawks, it's Nyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I find a way if he's
any
available.
and every trade conversation I have with Kyle Dubas starts with Matthew Nyes, and we go from there.
And feel free to stack on assets from the Hawks, right?
Yeah, right.
I would give up one of those. You might even talk about you giving up a first-round pick for him, right? If you give up that Tampa pick.
Yes.
Right?
I think you'd get fair value in that.
Yeah.
For sure.
The 2024 Tampa pick.
Yeah.
Sure.
Keep the 2023 one.
Right, whatever it might be. Josh Micah says I look weird without glasses. Thank you. I'll be self-conscious about that for the next half hour. Appreciate you saying that out loud so I can see it in big font right on my screen. Why don't you kick my dog while you're at it? All right, next one. Liam says Taves and Tampa second for a first and Turcotte.
Tampa's second.
Yeah.
What?
Do
we have Tampa's second?
Do we have to? Don't we have to acquire Tampa's second first?
Yeah, we don't have Tampa's second.
Do we?
Does it mean Tampa's second first-round pick? Or do we...
I think that's what he meant, yeah.
I'm... Without looking at Cap Friendly, I don't think we have Tampa's...
Yeah, yes, we do.
We do?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
That was the...
Was that wasn't the Hagel trade?
No,
see here.
was that the Seabrook trade?
That was Tyler Johnson.
Tyler
Yep.
Johnson.
Tyler
Oh, wow.
Johnson, yeah.
That pick's now coming
Yeah,
around.
so we essentially have all of Tampa's picks.
Yeah, suck it, Tampa.
So
And all your
Taves
fourth
and
liners.
Tampa second, so it'll be a late second-round pick. For a first-round pick and Alex Turcotte, yes.
Yeah, I don't think the Kings do it at all. But yeah, that'd be great.
Turcotte...
If you're getting a first plus for Taves, do it.
Yep.
Turcotte is the Kings' number 4 prospect. He's 21 years old. This year with Ontario of the AHL in 19 games, he has 5 goals and 7 assists. He played 4 games with the Kings this year and was held scoreless. But he was a high pick. That was a doc draft, right?
Fifth overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5th overall in the 2019
used
draft.
Capo.
See, I don't know if the Kings...
Doc, Byram,
If the
Turcotte.
Kings are calling the Hawks, it might be more for Kane.
I would
than
imagine
Taves.
Kane.
Yeah, Kane.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
they're pretty set down the
They're
middle.
fine. They're fine at center.
Yeah, they got Kopitar and Dano as their top 2 centers. I
Yeah.
don't know if you necessarily need Jonathan
And
Taves
you got
at that
Byfield
point.
as well.
Yeah, so I
think
mean
you're fine
that
at center.
would be a pretty stout centering trio.
Sure, yeah.
right there. That'd be they won't lose many faceoffs in the playoffs, but
No.
I think they're calling for Kane over for
Yeah, you're calling.
And,
You're calling
and
for a
if you make
scorer.
that offer for Kane, I'd probably still take it.
Mm-hmm. And Turcotte's a guy who, like, he's had some concussions already. Like,
Yeah.
he's kind of like a Byram, where it's just like when and if he's healthy, it'd be really nice. But it's a question mark. But I mean, hey, if you're talking about trying to get, a guy with some, we've talked a number of times about Kyle Davidson looking at, like, hey, who are cusp of NHL ready prospects that they can start, potentially bringing in rather than just focusing on picks. He's definitely somebody that you would at least consider.
Maybe him making his NHL debut in Chicago is a sign.
Yeah, this
The universe
is
aligning up.
Chicago area kid. You could sell some.
Would you do
Turcotte
that trade
jerseys.
if it was Kane?
Probably.
Kane and their
Kane
second
and a second for the first and
for
Turcotte.
first and Turcotte?
I'm doing it.
Sure.
Probably.
I would feel like relatively fair for that. Yeah.
All right. Hey, the stage is set, and we're counting down to the battle in Arizona. There's no better way to get ready for the NFL action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57. New customers can bet just $5 and get 200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Boost your Super Bowl 57 winnings with each leg you add up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get 200 in free bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details.
Ohio.
And the time has come for the DraftKings pick of the week. Greg? Sports.
What are we
Yeah,
picking?
this was a tough one because there's no NHL right now. There's no All-Star game bets we could place.
Not currently.
And, the big game in Arizona is not for another week, so we'll save that for next week. Lots of fun. Speaking of that, though, there's a ton of fun prop bets on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You could literally pick – they've got Super Bowl squares. You can literally pick your own square number and teams and bet on it, and each number combination has different odds. That looks like a lot of fun. We may do that next week. But we're going to go to the land I am very unfamiliar with, so Steven may have to give me some input on if this is a good bet or not. But I have placed an NBA bet
Oh,
for the pick of the week.
Thought it was gonna be competitive eating.
First time ever, I'm jumping into the world of pro hoops. Our neighbors to the north, the Milwaukee Bucks, are hosting the Los Angeles Clippers tonight. So my same game parlay, Giannis over 32.5 points and taking the Bucks giving up 4.5 points. So that is a plus 240. So Giannis has to score 33 and the Bucks have to win by at least 5. Is that a good bet?
I like it. Especially the Clippers that have had so many injuries, and they're Kawhi Leonard and Paul George barely even play, it seems. They did play in their last game versus the Bulls, but we'll see how many minutes they get for 2 games in 3 days.
Perfect. I like it. Plus 240. So
if there's someone who I would hang a bet on, I'm betting on Giannis to do good things.
Yeah, I don't know much about basketball, mostly because it's, I'm not one of those hockey fans. Oh, I don't like basketball. No, it's because I cover a hockey team and the seasons run parallel. It's kind of hard to follow both leagues at the same time, but he's probably my favorite NBA player. He seems like a really fun and genuine dude. So if he wins me $6 on my $2 bet,
there you go.
I will send him a card.
There you go.
Nice.
Some nice Valentine's Day card.
Beautiful. And the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve save money and energy. ComEd offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. This can be done in person or virtually and lasts approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. Don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to comed.com/poweringbiz. Ready to sign up for a facility assessment? Call them at 855-433-2700 during normal business hours to speak with a ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative. Email businessee@comed.com or request an assessment online on their website at comed.com/facility assessment.
Nice.
It's a mouthful. All right.
We still got more trades?
Next, trade.
Back to the trades.
This one comes via email.
Oh, nice.
So
From
this
Kendall.
is a user over 50. Kendall. It's okay. I'm 45. Hey, guys, love the show. Patrick Kane, 50% retained. The Rangers give us Dallas's first-round pick and Adam Sikora. I feel like this is a little too much, though. So let's do that one first. Yeah. I'm down for a first-round pick and a top prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate when when people talk about trades with the Rangers and it doesn't involve Alexis Lafreniere or
it's coming.
or Capo Caco. Like, let's be a little bit more creative. Yeah, Adam Sikora is definitely someone that I would be interested in from the Rangers prospect system for sure. And yeah, first round. Look, I think this is great for a Patrick Kane straight up deal, a first round pick and a prospect. Like, great,
I feel like that's kind of what we should start setting our expectation to. Is you're not going to get a first and a top prospect, but you maybe get a first. And this is coming into this year, Sikora was their 12th rated prospect.
And that's, he was this year's draft, right?
Yes.
This past summer's draft.
Yep.
So yeah, so like he's young,
Second round pick.
young second round pick. Like he's a guy that's going to have some time to develop. So yeah, give him a little bit of runway to get to the Blackhawks system, but I think he's one to look out for sure.
He's playing in Slovakia with Nitra. That's a cool team name.
Yeah.
28 games, 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points. But again, always keep in mind European stats don't really translate ice size, yada yada yada.
But still, a teenager playing against men to get have 16 points in the season, like that's pretty good. Yep. And he also had if I remember correctly, had a pretty good World Juniors. He was a contributor for the Slovakian team for sure. So yeah, I would be very okay with this trade for Patrick Kane. And Dallas's first round pick could be early 20s or into the maybe in the 30s. They're a team that could really make some noise, or they could be one or two injuries away from a early first round dump out.
The next trade that Kendall has, Jake McCabe, 50% retained to the Leafs in return for first round pick and Topi Niemela. This would be interesting if Toronto would part ways with that. If you disagree with this idea, what would you like to see come from Toronto? Austin Matthews would be what I would like to see. Topi Niemela, a defenseman. He is their number 4 prospect in 43 games with Karpat. In Finland, he has 6 goals and 6 assists, 32 points in 48 games with Karpat last year. So seems like an offensive-minded defenseman. That's pretty high on the Leafs list of prospects.
He's their top defensive prospect.
Top defensive prospect.
I like him, but I'd be looking more to get prospects that play forward at this point.
Yeah, the Blackhawks need to continue.
Unless it's a can't-miss defenseman.
Right, and he's good. I like him. Like I wouldn't hate it, but like the prospect-wise, defensively, the Hawks are in a pretty good situation where I would rather shoot for, a winger or center than a defenseman.
Yeah.
But a first-round pick and an offensive-minded young defenseman for Jake McCabe, I'd take that trade. As I said, I'd try and get a forward instead of a defenseman. But if that's the offer, I would make that trade.
And I know we mentioned this before, but on a previous show. But if it's not Nyes or Robertson, I do like Nick Moldenhauer as a forward prospect that the Blackhawks could get from Toronto. That's not one of their top guys. Is that our last trade?
We got 4 more?
Oh,
Damn.
4
All right,
more.
we got to
My
rifle
God.
through these bad boys.
Let's see.
Yeah, we got 4 more. It's Tommy Hawk looks like he's wearing the Foco banana hammock on the Hawks Twitter if you want to check that out.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Tommy Hawk's living his best life in Florida, so we'll get to that. Hey,
All
Charlie.
right, this is from Charles the Bacon Fellow. And there it is. Kane to the Rangers for Lafreniere.
Oh, Charlie.
A 2023
Come
first
on.
and third. A conditional 2024 pick. Hawks
Oh,
retain
my
50%.
God.
Yes, done.
Have you been eating your bourbon bacon?
Minus the bacon.
That's
I mean,
a huge return
if,
for
if,
Kane.
If the Rangers, if Chris Drury wanted to make that trade, Kyle Davidson should say yes and hang up his phone and delete Drury's number so fast.
Make sure the fax machine works.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if it called today, I would tell Patrick Kane, you have waived your no trade clause. You are going to the Rangers right now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's a huge haul.
That is a haul.
They're
not going to do it.
think the Rangers are doing that. And
That's a first-round pick, a first-round pick, a third-round pick,
And their
and
number
a
one
conditional
overall prospect.
Yeah. Well, Lafreniere, I'm saying, that's
Yeah,
a first-round
right.
pick, a first this year, a third this year, and another conditional, future. You're not going to do that.
Well,
Great.
And for all the naysayers about Lafreniere, he was a no-doubt number 1 overall pick when he was picked by the Rangers. He's 20 years old. He's already played 183 NHL games, and he's got 74 points. He's not lighting it up. He's also in a bottom 6 role, gets very limited special teams time. I think a lot of people are giving up on him, and if the Rangers are willing to give up on him, I'm willing to take a flyer on him.
Well, in our conversation with was it Emily Kaplan or was it no, it was with Shayna Goldman about prospects and how they're used and how David Quinn was using guys like Lafreniere and Capo Caco and I think he's kind of a casualty of the term generational talent, and he wasn't put into a position to let his full skill set flourish right away. Look, when the Rangers made their postseason run last year, he was playing on a third line role, but he was playing with Capo Caco and he was playing with Filipino, young guys that are all dynamic in their own ways, but it was a third line role. So I think if he was put in an elevated role, his skill set could come out a little bit more. But I think he was getting a little bit of hey, he could be the next Sidney Crosby kind of thing, and it was just not really.
Yeah.
So
There's also something to be said, too, for, usually your first overall pick is going to go to a team, if he's NHL ready, that's going to need help on the top 6. The Rangers were pretty good when they got Lafreniere, roster-wise.
That was a big jump for them to get the first pick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a unique situation where, if the Hawks get Bedard or Fantilli, whenever they come into the NHL, they're going to be in a top 6 right away and have that chance to get top ice time, power play time, etc. Whereas Lafreniere and Kako, too, have not really had that opportunity with the Rangers yet.
No.
So, all right, we got
And
three more.
There's
Sorry,
been
go
no
ahead.
indication that the Rangers are giving up on Lafreniere anyway. They've even said, like, no,
Yeah,
we're
right,
cool.
right.
We're going to try and get a bridge deal for him and see where it goes.
Well, and that's the
They
nice
see
thing
the
about
writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Their stars are not getting any younger. Eventually, he's going to be able to get into that spot. So that could be just a lot of talk for them trying to drive up his value. Say, hey, I know you don't want to trade this guy, but, what if we sweeten the pot? But
I'm just going to say, remember, Teuvo Teravainen, first-round pick, highly touted, came into the Hawks in a third lower-line role and never really took that step to stardom here due to opportunity and development. He gets to Carolina, gets a bigger role, gets to develop into his role. Had the Hawks held on to Teravainen, it's a whole different story, right? And the same thing could be said for the Rangers, and your point is correct. Like, their good players are getting older, right? They're not going to be able to re-sign everybody.
Yeah.
So hopefully when you get rid of somebody there, Lafreniere's ready to take that next step and he moves into your top 6. That is wise and patient general managing. And that was the key word we heard from Shayna was just like, be patient with your prospects.
Yeah.
And I think it would be foolish for the Rangers to bail on Lafreniere at this point, especially because they're good and they can allow him to grow in his role.
Yeah.
In the bottom 6. So, all right, we got 3 more, so let's get through them quickly. This one is from Rating Vegas Golden Knights tweets. Okay.
Interesting.
Kane at 50% retained. Jujhar Khaira for Sammy Blais, Alexis Lafreniere, and a 2023 conditional first-round pick. Hawks get either the earlier or later pick. You decide. Okay. He says Khaira adds to the Rangers' depth. Blais is moved for money reasons. Lafreniere is a former number 1 who still has potential. Again, kind of the same conversation we had. That's a huge haul.
Sammy Blais does nothing for me. I don't want him in a trade. He's not a hockey player.
And he's healthy, and Khaira's not.
Yeah, we don't know about Khaira's
Just because
health.
the Rangers got duped and gave up a second-round pick and Pavel Buchnevich for Sammy Blah is what he should be called.
Oh, take that.
He doesn't even have a goal yet for the Rangers. He was hurt most of last year. He's played 52 games for them since being traded for Buchnevich and a second-round pick, and he has no goals. No
Not
thanks.
good.
Those 9 assists, though.
Yeah, those 9 assists. No thanks. I everything else in that trade, fine. But I Sammy, no, thank you. Let the Rangers
take
deal
out
with
the
their
Khaira
awful trade.
and Blais part, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Sure.
But again, we just talked
You can
about
keep
Lafreniere.
Khaira in there. I don't know, whatever. But I mean, I don't think he's playing anytime soon. But
Yeah,
we'll
it
see.
doesn't seem like it.
And Ethan says, will Jay ever get over Teuvo? No, I won't.
Obviously not.
Thanks for asking. Boy, everyone's just kicking me in the nuts today.
It's your last day
Good thing
before
I took Roman to solidify things down there.
It's because it's your last day before you take a couple of days off. We
That's right.
got to
I'm
give you crap.
going to colder weather.
It's a very smart move on your
Yeah,
behalf.
definitely. All right, we got, 2 more?
2 more?
All right, let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
This is from Nick. He says, to the Rangers, Kane 50% retained and a 2023 4th-round pick. The Hawks get a 2023 first and Brendan Othman.
Done
Brendan
and
Othman.
done.
Yes.
See, this is the trade I've been waiting for.
We got one.
Nick, you win the show for finally
like this.
giving me a Rangers trade that involves Brendan Othman. I don't care about Alexis Lafreniere, Capocacco. You could keep him. That's the guy I'm targeting if the Rangers are serious about a Kane trade.
Mm-hmm.
If that's an actual trade offer, done and done, I will take Patrick Kane to the airport and pick up Brendan Othman and take him right to practice.
Othman is 19 years old. He was the 16th overall pick in 2021. He is the Rangers' number 6 prospect. In Peterborough this year, he has 19 points in 18 games. 2 years ago, 2021-22 in Flint, in 66 games, he had 97 points.
It's good.
So this is
he was
a big scoring prospect.
And if you'll remember back to earlier this winter, big part of Canada's gold medal run at the World Junior.
Would you 1-for-1 it? Kane for Othman?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
me too.
yeah.
Done.
Sure.
Yep.
I would not hate that.
Ethan says he loves me. No, you don't. You would not. If you love me, you wouldn't bring up Teuvo. You wouldn't do that because it hurts. It's very, very painful.
All right, last one on the docket.
All right, yeah, one more. And it's Nick
Nick's
again.
going back to back.
All right.
Hey, he had a good first one, so let's see how this one goes. Toronto gets Jake McCabe at 50% retained. The Hawks get a first-round pick. A conditional first-round pick if the Toronto makes it out of the first round. Otherwise, it becomes a second and a 2024 fourth.
So if they get out of the first round,
It's a first.
It's a
It's a first. If not, it's
If-
a second and a
second and a
2024 fourth. I feel like you can get a first from McCabe.
I'd have to see.
It sounds like that's the thought process.
I feel like a guaranteed first from McCabe is not out of the question.
No, if that's the best offer, maybe. And then you really, man, that would really get me to root for Toronto in the first round because not only you get the first round pick, but it also then makes Tampa's pick that we have even better.
Yeah.
So that's the double whammy. That'd be like,
interesting.
crap.
Yeah.
I don't like it because that would force me to cheer for the Maple Leafs, so I nix it.
I think if you made it their first round pick,
No, I refuse to root for Toronto. No,
I think if you made it their first round pick and the fourth from McCabe, I could do that.
Oh yeah, first and a fourth
okay.
for McCabe, done. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Then I don't have to root for the Maple Leafs.
All right, anyone we want to get to in the chat before we wrap up? Any great ones there? All right, we got one from Mike.
From Mike, who's always active with us on Twitter. Appreciate it, Mike.
And this is the Connor Bedard jersey guy, right?
No,
I'm
This
sorry.
is the guy who was in Edmonton, I believe, at the game.
Right.
With the Oilers. Got to meet Luke Richardson and Jonathan
That's
Toews.
it. I knew there was something there.
And now he's trading Jonathan Toews.
all right. He's trading Jonathan.
Now that I met
Toews,
him, get him out of town.
half retained and a 2024 fifth round pick. Very random.
Okay.
For a 2023 first, Fabian Lysell. With Taves going to Boston, it makes him a 1-2-3 punch down the middle. It looks a lot like what the Bruins got.
so that's their first and arguably their best prospect.
Yeah, I don't see
I
that
don't see
happening.
Boston doing that.
If Boston did it, I definitely take it. I don't see them throwing in Lysell.
Yeah.
If it was one or the other, oh, yeah.
Tays going to Boston, I could see. I just think that's an overpayment.
Yeah. I would. Would you do it for Lysell alone? Taves for Lysell?
Yes.
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 20-year-old. He was the 21st overall pick by the Bruins in 2021. In 27 games with Providence this year, he has 8 goals, 14 assists, 22 points. He is a right winger from Gothenburg, Sweden.
He's like a Lucas Reichel-esque type player.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to be a superstar, but could be a very good
Second
liner guy.
Yeah.
So if they offer me Lysell for Taves, straight up, yes, done.
I would do that for sure.
All right. Well, those were pretty solid.
Yeah. Not
Thank
bad.
you for not a lot of ridiculousness. Charlie, be better. You owe us all bacon for your bad trade idea.
Yes.
I think that's fair.
You would trade us bacon for us not ridiculing you.
Yeah, exactly.
Bacon for praise.
And before we wrap up, I want to remind everybody that Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Have you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat thought you could never afford? 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert? It's possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You will not find a better deal this season on Blackhawks tickets. It's created by the fans, for the fans, and they guarantee the lowest price. So if you go find a ticket on one of those imposter sites and it just so happens to be cheaper than Game Time, they will beat it. They guarantee the lowest price. If you love CHGO, you will love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through that link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. And fellas, we were looking at the Game Time tickets for the other day, and the last potential Hawks home game for Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, if they're traded at the deadline, March 2nd, Dallas at Chicago, Game Time, $12.
Gone down.
Gets you in the door for potentially the last game as Blackhawks at the United Center for Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
Or it could be the return game for Patrick Kane.
The first game.
If he's with Dallas, or
Dallas.
if either of them are with Dallas,
Yep.
and they come back, imagine
Or on
that
the
ticket
4th when
price.
Jonathan Toews comes back as a Nashville Predator.
Sure.
Because they're going to half go for it.
Yeah.
That's what
There
they
you
do
go.
every year.
Man, that
Yeah.
would be there's no way he's approving that trade.
I would not either.
No, that would not be good.
Thank you.
Hey, want to give a shout out to
Yes.
our good friend Thomas Hawk, who is also on his All-Star break out there in Florida. And you mentioned it, Jay. This is unconfirmed, but that looks definitely like something you could get from our good friends at Foco as Tommy's out there on the boat in Florida. That is definitely not Lake Michigan. He's out there with the rest of the mascots having the time of his life.
So it says 10,000 likes and I'll do a flip. I got to say, that's going to smell bad. He jumps into the ocean in a plush costume that's going to reak forever.
Yeah, that
probably
is-
doesn't smell great anyway.
Maybe they
Probably smells like suntan lotion right now.
maybe they're retiring that specific version of it. They got a new one ordered. It just showed up. and they're
Tommy
figuring
Hawk
out a
was
way to-
devoured by a shark.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
rough.
bad.
That's rough. Oh, boy. And Sports Genius says $4,357 will get you in the Super Bowl on Game Time. That's actually a pretty good deal.
Hey, watch the Super Bowl at home. Like it's a lot more fun. I can guarantee that.
Yes, and we want to shout out Alexander, who is joining us from Portugal today.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Birthplace of extreme guitarist Nuno Betancourt.
There you go.
No one knows what I'm talking about but
I
me.
do.
Cool.
Deal with it.
Those are
my guy.
That's more than words, right?
That is
there.
more than words,
Yes.
but that was their lead song. And I mentioned yesterday the Chicago North Stars Winter Classic Pride Night. I've got some more details on that. A couple of people asked. It is Saturday, the 25th of February at 2 p.m. at the Parkway Bank Park Entertainment District in Rosemont. It is a $10 suggested donation at the door. They're going to have raffles. They're going to have a hot cocoa bar and more. And we are going to donate a Die Hard membership to the cause.
Nice.
So a Die Hard membership, a CHGO T-shirt, and come and hang out with us during
It's
a
a
show.
really good area too because the rink is kind of right in the middle, and after the game, there's 5 or 6 different restaurants and bars
Yeah.
that you could just walk right into.
Warm
And
up.
I believe they will allow you to walk into one of those bars, get an adult beverage in a plastic cup, and take it out to watch
Nice.
the
There
game
you go.
too. So yeah,
Should be a
Nothing
good time.
wrong with that.
February
yeah,
25th.
as long as it's not 83 below zero, I'll probably check that out.
Yeah.
February 25th. Yeah, it should be okay.
The Chicago North Stars, by the way, if you don't know who they are, women's hockey, they are working hard to become a pro hockey team. They're taking all the steps to join a league and become part of professional women's hockey.
I think if the
So it's going to be high quality. Go out there, check it out. They're very organized, very solid, good organization. Go check out the Chicago North Stars, February 25th in Rosemont.
I think if the if the PHF is smart and looking to expand, Chicago's a market to get into.
I would agree.
Yeah, they could pick worse places.
CHGO North Stars podcast. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right,
oh,
we're
I'm thinking
gonna-
of Red Stars. My bad.
Too many stars. All right,
Lots
we're
of
going to
stars.
wrap things up. Thanks to Steven for producing the show and for participating in the Roman read with me. Get used to that. You're going to be a part of it every time.
Can't wait.
You got to take the burden off me a little bit.
Every fourth show.
We're back. I'm not back tomorrow. I'm off. I'm off till Tuesday. These guys are back Friday and Monday. Monday show, by the way, I don't know if we can.
Monday show is going to be one to
Don't
tune
miss
into.
Monday show.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of our shows are good to tune into,
yes.
but Monday is specifically going to have some good things. Well, some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, and tomorrow you guys are going to do basically your rebuild report on the air.
Yeah,
should be a lot of
you
fun.
Sit there and read the rebuild report to you and then sign off.
No, we're gonna. So our rebuild report will be published this afternoon, accessible to our diehards, which is another reason to become a diehard. You get access to some of our exclusive written content. Rebuild report is part of that. Jay's weekly Blackhawks beat is part of that. But yeah, rebuild report coming out later today, and then tomorrow we're going to dive into the Blackhawks prospect system. If you haven't been paying attention to it, I don't know what else to do to get you to pay attention to it than what the Blackhawks are doing this year. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. We're going to talk about all things prospects, some guys to look at in the draft, some guys to look at over the next season or two that could make their way to the Blackhawks roster. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. These fellas are back tomorrow at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. And remember, we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Smash that like button on the way out. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you.